Who is the gray man? What's this concept all about? Let's explore that today in the Adventure Classroom. In prepping culture, there is a concept known as the gray man. I recently did a video on prepping mistakes that will get you killed in the event of a disaster, and in that video I mentioned the concept of the gray man, and I had a few people comment that they would like to hear a little bit more about that. In a nutshell, the concept of the gray man is this. In the event of a disaster, or in the event of, say, maybe a post-apocalyptic type situation, you would still need to be able to emerge from your bunker and go out and handle things like foraging for food. In order to do that, you'll need to stay off the radar of people who have, let's say, a less than honorable approach to survival. The core of the concept is not about being invisible, but being seen without being noticed. You can take an approach of, say, hyper camouflage, where you can dress in ghillie suits and camouflage netting and stay very well hidden, but that only works in certain environments. And as soon as you change environments, you have to be able to change your camouflage. So the ultimate camouflage is to be able to walk freely, but in a way that nobody really pays particular attention to you. So how do you do that? You do that by blending in with your atmosphere. By the way, stick around to the end of this video because we're going to talk about a way to take all of these concepts and use them in your everyday life now. No disasters, no apocalypse, how to apply the gray man principle in your everyday life. The first thing about this entire approach that you have to be cognizant of is situational awareness. You have got to learn situational awareness, and you have to start learning it today. It's not something that you need to wait until something happens before you even start thinking about it. What is situational awareness? Basically, it's a concept of being aware of everything that's going on around you, good or bad, so that you can react to the things that happen because you've already started to develop an expectation of what's about to go down. Examples in everyday life are things like noticing that there's somebody standing next to the ATM machine that you want to use, or as you're loading your groceries, there's somebody sitting in the car that's parked right next to yours. It doesn't necessarily mean something's going to happen, but because you've noticed that, you're prepared in the event that it does. Without situational awareness, none of the concepts in the gray man principle are going to matter because you're going to be completely unaware of the presence of danger. Learn to focus on the things that are happening around you. It's called keeping your head on a swivel. You're constantly looking around, and it doesn't have to be obvious. You don't have to be robotic about it. You can simply learn to observe the things that are happening around you in order to protect yourself and become prepared for whatever happens next. Beyond situational awareness, the next step in this process is how you dress. You need to dress for the environment because the things that you wear, that's going to be the first impression that people are going to get of you. If you are in a more rural environment, you have to consider that. If you're in a more urban environment, then you have to consider that in the way that you dress before you head out on whatever mission it is you're heading out on. A lot of people prepare for post-disaster by stocking things like camouflage clothing or tactical clothing. That is the last thing that you want to do in a survival situation, because all you're going to do is draw attention to yourself. You may think that by dressing in tactical gear that you're going to intimidate people into not wanting a confrontation, but really all you're doing is you're standing out as somebody that probably has something that they will be very interested in, especially if you're on your own or in a very small group. Because what's going to happen is a smart adversary is going to sit back and observe and watch where you go. He's going to follow you back to whatever you're calling home base. And then he's going to wait for you to pop your head up the next time, because now he knows where you've got your stuff. The next time your head pops up, he is going to punch your ticket, and now he's got all your stuff. Camouflage gear and tactical gear says, I've taken a military type approach to this. I've probably got a bunch of really cool stuff stockpiled back at my place. Follow me back, see where I'm going, and come get my stuff. Instead of going paramilitary, go with just a pair of basic cargo pants or a pair of jeans or something subtle that will have some durability, but is not going to scream for attention. Wear long sleeve shirts, something made of cotton or denim, and wear neutral or natural colors, things that are going to kind of blend in with whatever environment that you're in. Stay away from camouflage patterns or anything that even looks like camouflage. Bright colors, white, of course, those are going to stand out, so always opt for naturally occurring colors if you can. Get you some good heavy-duty boots, something with a good sole. Remember, in a post-disaster situation, there's probably going to be debris everywhere, and that's going to be dangerous to your feet. You're likely to encounter nails, broken glass, things like that. The stronger your shoes are, the better off you'll be in that situation. Instead of toting around some kind of military-grade pack, just find something that looks like a student would carry their books to school in it. If you're walking down the street wearing a student's backpack, nobody's going to look at that and think that's probably loaded up with a bunch of gear. Also, keep in mind, your backpack in this case is meant for storing whatever it is you're going foraging for. So don't load it up with a bunch of stuff. Put a handful of items that you might need into the pack and leave the bulk of the space in there available for hauling things back to home base. Remember to always have self-protection tools on you, but keep them concealed. Don't let anybody see what you've got. Nobody should ever know upon approach what level of resistance you are capable of. They need to find out the hard way. Going back to talking about the contents of your backpack, only carry what you can afford to lose. Don't put vital items in it. Don't store money in it unless you are going on a mission that requires it. And then carry only what you absolutely have to have and what you can afford to lose. Learn your surroundings. Figure out ahead of time places where you can stash your gear, where you can cache supplies, and a place that you know if you have to dump your stuff, you can always come back and find it again. And finally, the last thing is learn alternate routes back to home base. Don't always take the same way back. Look, the fact is that you're always going to run the risk of encountering bad actors. And if that happens, you need to make them work for whatever benefit they're trying to get from you. Never be an easy target. Never do all the work for them. The first objective is to get them to not even pay attention to you in the first place. The second objective is, if they come, make them work hard. If you've stuck with the video this far, please give us a like. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be made aware of all upcoming videos. So there it is, the Gray Man Principle in a nutshell. That's, of course, not every aspect of it, but it's the basics. Now, I said that I was going to show you how to apply these in your everyday life. And if you haven't already picked up on it, every concept of this has a way that it can benefit you in your personal safety and security. The trick is to always carry yourself in a way that bad guys don't look at you and automatically think, there goes a potential target. Consider things like carrying expensive high-end brand name purses or satchels, or wearing something like a Rolex watch. If you live in a high crime area, every time you leave your house, you're going to have to consider the possibility that you may walk past someone who is a criminal looking for an opportunity. Not every crime happens because the bad guy woke up one day and said, I'm going to go out and commit a crime. A lot of times they just happen to be in the same place with somebody that has something they want. After my retirement from law enforcement, I was hired by a group as a security and safety coordinator. Recently, a member of the group that I was hired to protect was out, not on the property that I worked for. She was out on her own going grocery shopping when she was attacked for her purse. The suspect knocked down a security guard that was walking with her and then proceeded to viciously beat this woman just because he wanted her purse. He didn't know what was in it. He didn't care what was in it. She was carrying a very desirable brand name, and he decided at that moment that he wanted that. Now, you may listen to what I'm saying and go, but I shouldn't have to live like that. I should be able to carry my purse. I should be able to wear the watch that I want to wear. Just about every video I have produced on this channel, I close with the same thing. I always say, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. The world that we live in requires that you take certain approaches to how you present yourself in public. I will say you should be able to go out in public, wear what you want to wear, carry what you want to carry, and not be a victim of crime. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is. So you are left to consider, when should I wear this item? When should I carry this item? And if I do, I need to be prepared for the possibility that something could happen. You have to be vigilant, you have to watch what's going on around you, and you may need to learn how to protect yourself in the event that somebody comes for it. Wear clothing that makes people not even notice you. Don't carry things that make you stand out. Learn how to defend yourself, learn how to defend what you've gathered. And even though that's not going to stop bad things from happening, it could minimize it. So that's a wrap for this one. I hope you learned a little bit about the Gray Man Principle and how to apply it to your everyday life. And until the next video, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you next time.